So last week I was in Ecclesiastes. Today I was looking at the same scripture, trying to figure out what I was going to teach on. And first couple verses jumped out at me. I didn't know why at first, but then after studying, it's pretty good. But that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Is Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 1 through 3. It says, "Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. Give a portion to 7, and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if the tree fall toward the south or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there it shall be." All right. Now, it says, "To cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days." Now, the commentary that I was reading says that this symbolizes to put bread or cargo on a ship that might take a while to, fulfill. And then you don't get return on it until the cargo goes out, and then the money comes back. So you putting your bread on a boat and sending it across the water is investing in a return that you cannot see. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So here's, "Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt not find it after many days." Saying that you send it out and it's going to take many days. You make the bread, you do the work, and you put it out there, and then you have to wait for your return. Okay? And a lot of times we're okay with doing that, but then when God says to do something similar, a lot of times we're like, I don't know, man, I don't really want to wait. I don't want to wait right now. Because I've always heard it my whole life that we're a microwave society. We want it, and we want it right now. And then we still sit in front of the microwave yelling, "Hurry up!" Because that's how impatient we are. But this is saying how good it is to invest in a return that you can't immediately see. It gives us patience. It gives us all these things. But you see it's saying here, verse 2 says, "Give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth." Okay? So, verse 2 is saying to bless who we can. Be good to who we can. It says, "Give a portion to 7 and give a portion to 8, because we don't know what evil shall be on the earth." So if we don't know what evil is going to be on the earth, we don't know what's coming, the worst that's coming. And I've always heard that today is the best day that you'll ever have, because it's getting worse from here on out. So we don't know what's to come, but we know that we can be a blessing today. All right, and then verse 3 says, "If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if a tree fall toward the south or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there it shall be." All right, now, what does that sound like? Cause and effect. Okay? Now, that's how we stay patient with our investment that we can't, and with our return that we can't immediately see. When the Bible tells us to give, and that He'll give back to us, pressed down, shaken together, running over. That's a promise. A lot of times when we invest into God, we don't immediately see it, but it comes eventually. God does keep His promises. And then when we think about that, we've got to think about cause and effect. Like when he's talking about shipping out the goods on a boat, we think of cause and effect. Okay? The cause, I sold them bread. The effect, they paid me for the bread. I get the money. I get the return that I'm looking for. Okay? So that's how we stay patient with that. Cause and effect. It's a fact that happens. day in, day out. When we do this, this happens. When we do this, this happens. So when we make an effort to invest in a return that we can't immediately see, we have to look at cause and effect. When we do the work that God says to do, and He promises to bless us, then our cause is the work that we do. The effect is the blessing that I get from that. Whether that blessing is something that you can see, something tangible, or if it's just a blessing on our lives, it makes us feel good about what we're doing. It makes us feel like we're doing something purposeful for God. You see, that's a blessing. That's a return. Okay? But we can't immediately see it. And a lot of times that keeps us from taking a chance on things. You know, I know a lot of people that won't take a chance on anything. Nothing. You know, they won't spend an amount of money without immediately seeing a return. They won't, take a chance on anything because they're too cautious. And I say too cautious because that's exactly what it is. When we're too cautious, then we give up a lot of things that God has in store for us. I'm not telling you to go out and gamble. I'm not saying that at all. Not at all. But if God asks you to do something, it seems a little iffy, that we can't see a return immediately, we've got to remember that we're dealing with God, our Creator, the one who keeps His promises. He is the promise keeper. Okay? We as humans, we try to keep promises. And we try to be honest and a good person. But you know what? We mess up. We slip up from time to time. But God does not. God doesn't. When God tells you, if you do this, then I will bless you. Even if we don't see the blessing right away, we know that He told us that He will bless us. So we do the work, and then here comes the effects. I mean, that's how it works. That's how God works. We have to do the work, and then He gives us a return on it. He gives us a return, whether it be something, like I said, something tangible or something, spiritual, something that we can't necessarily touch. But you see, that's how it works, though, is that we put our faith in God, and we send our bread across the sea. And then God sends it back with our return. You see, we don't necessarily, if we're the one that's making the bread, most of the time, we pay somebody else to ship it. Okay? Right? Today, if we're making goods that we're selling, then we put it on a UPS truck or a FedEx truck or a mail truck or something, and that person takes it away, takes it out, takes it where it's supposed to go. And we don't know for a fact that it's going to go where it's supposed to be. But we trust in that system to do what it's supposed to do, because that's what it's built to do. And when we trust in that system, then we get our return just like when we trust in God. When God tells us to do something, we trust in God. How much more do we trust in God when we do the U.S. Postal Service? I mean, I know for a fact of some packages that have been lost completely. God don't lose packages. God doesn't lose returns. God doesn't do those type of things. Now, He's not prone to mistakes like we are. So how much more should we put our faith into God for our returns than we do Postal Service or UPS or FedEx or whatever the case may be? See, God promises us returns. The UPS guy, FedEx guy, and the Postal Service guy, and say, we'll do our best. We'll get it to you if we can. We'll try our best not to damage your package. But there's a possibility they will mess up, but God will not. But like I said, when we get our return, the return that we wait patiently on. So a lot of times, see, me, I work through the week, and I get that paycheck, and I hold on to that thing. I don't want to go. I don't want to spend no money at all. I just want to hold on to it. I want to get rid of it because I worked so hard for it. I don't want to just blow it on something, which is way different than when I was young. But anyway, I wait for it and I want to hold on to it. And it's real hard sometimes for me in this flesh, being, a carnal being, to give it away sometimes because it's important. I need it. I need it to pay bills. I need it to eat. I need it to do all these things. You know how it works. But then when God says, give your last few dollars to this person right over here. No explanation. There's never an explanation. You always see it though, but there's never an explanation up front. He just wants you to trust him and do it. And sometimes that's what he does. He says, give $100 to that guy right over there. Well, God, all I've got is that last $100 bill. Give it to him. And then you got to decide what you're going to do. Are you going to keep your $100 bill and use it for what you had planned, which is probably going to be, buy groceries or pay a bill or whatever, which is basically just to make it poof, disappear, magic, ooh, it's gone. Or you can give it to the person God said to give it to. And then we get that pressed down, shaken together, running over blessing that he promises us. See, that's the return that we can't immediately see. But we have to have faith in God that return is on its way. And I promise you, no matter what's going on in your life, if you've done the work for God, then that return is on the way. It may take a while to get to you. There may be complications getting that return to you, but God will make sure that your return gets to you if you put your faith in him. That's all it takes, is he's telling us, put your faith in me and let me provide for you for a little bit. Don't go out there trying to provide for yourself because I can do it for you. All you've got to do is put your faith in me. You see, like I was saying, we work hard for, I work hard for my money. I know a lot of people work hard for their money. And it's hard to just give it away at a whim, especially when it's the last little bit you got. But when God tells you to do it, know that he's going to provide. He will provide. And you think to yourself in your own carnal mind, if I give my last few dollars to this person, then I'm going to be hurt. Then I'm going to be the one out here wishing I had this little bit of money. All I'm doing is swapping places with this guy, man. I don't want to give him my money. But God's not going to leave you like that. Our carnal mind likes to teach us, likes to tell us that. Just like the snake in the Garden of Eden. The snake in the Garden of Eden was willing to tell Eve whatever she needed to hear, get her to take a bite of that fruit. And that's what she did. She took a bite of the fruit. Same thing with our carnal mind. It'll tell you anything that has to do to keep you from doing what God tells you to do, especially when it comes to money. Lord have mercy. But then when we do it, God gives us a return. That's way better than what we were going to do with the money. Way better. Way, way better. See, and all we have to do is make this little thing called a sacrifice. A sacrifice of faith. And when we do that, you see, we put ourselves aside. When we have faith in God, God tells us to do something that's hard for us to do, but we do it anyway. That is us putting us aside. Our own will, we put it aside. And it makes us grab God's will and put it right up front. And you know what that does? It makes you a good servant, a good steward of the Most High. And he's going to reward that every time. Every time. Even though we can't see it coming, it's on its way. It's absolutely on its way. Last night, we went out for our birthdays, went out to eat. And Melanie, we messaged Melanie to see where she was. She said, I'm about 10 minutes away. Well, we couldn't see her. We were sitting in the parking lot. We couldn't see her. She said she's on her way. We believed her. And guess what? She said, I'm about 10 minutes away. So guess what? About 10 minutes later, we get a phone call. Where y'all at? She was there. See, that's just like God's blessings on our lives when we do the work that He tells us to do. You may not see it, but it's on the way. It's coming. And you can move around. You can dodge all you want to, but it's coming for you. God's blessing's coming for you. And it's like a heat-seeking missile. You can move around. You can change houses. You can find somebody else's car. Put a mask on. It don't matter. God's blessing's going to find you. And He's going to bless you. Because you do the work. You see, the world will tell you to invest your money into certain things so that your money will work for you. And then your money that you invested makes more money. You see? And we do that. We see these millionaires and billionaires, and they tell you, how'd you do this? And they tell them, well, I invested in this, I invested in this, and I did this and this and this. And we believe them. And when we go out there and we try to do the same thing, speaking personally here, we end up broke because we didn't do it exactly the same way that they did. You see, they tell us how they do it, but what they're not telling you is that an investment will only make you rich if you put a lot of money into it. And that's normal people most of the time. We don't got a whole bunch to invest. And that's how the world works. So, oh yeah, it's absolutely going to work. If you do it exactly the way I did it, you'll become a millionaire overnight. And we get all excited. And we trust in it. And we put our money in it. Next thing you know, we're just sitting there broke going, I hope this stock goes up. I hope this investment that I just put money into doesn't go belly up. Oh gosh. And most of the time it does. It goes completely belly up. You lose all that money, and your faith was wasted on something that you shouldn't have put it in the first place. You should put it into God. And when God says you do this, then I'll give you a return on whatever it is you're putting out, then He promises that He will do it. It's on the way. You see, we've got to learn that just because we can see it, we can see these things. We can see Donald Trump making investments and getting a huge return. We can see this, I can't think of his first name, Buffett guy, whatever his name is. We can see he tells you how to do it. He's got YouTube channels telling you how to invest your money so that you can become a billionaire like him. Well, you know, if it was that easy, just watch a YouTube channel, you know how many billionaires there'd be on earth? We'd all be billionaires, and it wouldn't be worth nothing. Yeah. But we put our faith in those things. But when God says something, we have a hard time with it. And that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense that it happens to me. But it does. It is what it is. It's how it is being carnal. Because our carnal mind's telling us things just like that snake in the Garden of Eden does. To sow seeds of doubt. So that we don't invest with God. But we've got to do it. I mean, we don't have to do it. You can opt out if you want to. If you don't want those blessings, then I'll take it. I'm just joking. But anyway, if we'll just listen to God, put our faith in God, and do the work that He asks us to do, even though it puts a little bit of a strain on us sometimes. That blessing's coming. It may not be immediate, but it is coming. And it'll be right on time. You won't have to put things off to wait for this return, because God knows what you need. God knows what's coming, what bills are coming up, all this stuff. And He's going to make sure you get your return when you need it and how you need it. But we've got to put our faith in God. Just make a sacrifice in faith so that God can work for us. He wants to work for us. He just wants us to do a little work for Him. I go to work every day, and I give C and B almost every little bit of energy I got throughout the day. It's where I just come home, fall out on the couch, and go to sleep. And I do it for just a little bit of money. God's offering more than that. And sometimes we're not willing to lift a finger. But we've got to get to where we are. We've got to get to where we're willing to do the work. Okay? Not necessarily for the return, but expecting the return anyway. Because God's going to make sure you're taken care of. Especially in the scenario where you give your last few dollars away. You know, that's happened to my parents when I was a kid. And I've watched the return show up. At one point, I watched my dad walk up on just enough money to buy a refrigerator after doing what God told him to do. We had money. He gave it. I think he gave it to a church, right? I don't know. Anyway, he gave it to a church, I think. Anyway, and our refrigerator went out. Oh no, what are we going to do? We had money to get a refrigerator, but we donated it. Oh no. And we walked out one day. I can't remember where we were, but Dad looked down, $1,000 at his feet. At his feet. Just delivered, basically on a silver platter. Boom, $1,000. You know what that was just enough money for? Brand new refrigerator. Amazing. You see, God works like that. It's amazing, the things that he does. The stories that I hear I've heard throughout my life of the things that God's done for just a little bit of faith. It's amazing. And that's all it takes. Just a little bit of faith. We just do what God says and lean on him. And he will take care of us. I almost said something to bless you this morning. Any comments or questions?